Hello everyone, my name is Snake Plays, and welcome back to another One Pokemon Challenge video. And man, the Chimchar run was actually pretty fun. So let's do another challenge, another fun run to do. Yep, that's right folks, today's the day we're gonna figure out if I have what it takes to beat all of Pokemon Fire Red with only one Pinsir. I know you guys are probably saying, but what happened to the Solosis run? Well, that run decided to be challenging, and I'm stuck on the end fight. So while we're doing this, let's talk about Pinsir stats. Alright, I'm gonna be real, this is actually by far the best stats I've seen on a Pokemon to do one Pokemon challenge with. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think Pinsir needs to be a level 100 so he stands a chance against the Elite Four. I think it's probably gonna be good enough to get him up to at least a level 75, and then fight the Elite Four. Alright, let's check his moves. I'm gonna be honest, Game Freak totally missed an opportunity to make Pinsir a bug and fighting type. Just look at the amount of fighting type moves he can learn. Seismic Toss, Brick Break, Submission, Revenge, all the good fighting type moves. I find it funny that even though Pinsir is a pure bug type, he doesn't know a single bug type move like X-Scissor. There might not be many good bug type moves to pick from in Gen 3. Oh well. He doesn't know very many TM moves in his TM category list. I mean, Earthquake and Dig are pretty good. So is Double Team. He doesn't know any water type moves, thunder move, electric type moves, or any moves that other than Rock Tomb that can give some type coverage. We might teach him Rock Tomb to have some type coverage with fire and flying, and then Double Team if we need it. But I think that's about it. Alright, with that out of the way, let's go over the rules. I can only use Pinsir in combat. I can use other Pokemon for HM use only. No glitches or exploits. No items during battle. Only held items are allowed. With that out of the way, let's do this. Right off the rip, we used the Pokemon Randomizer to replace Bulbasaur with Pinsir so we can do the whole run with it. I chose to replace Bulbasaur so our rival will pick Charizard. Probably the hardest Pokemon for us to fight. I named him Beetlemon, a callback to the Digimon series. Alright, our first rival battle, and we start things off with Charmander. We use Focus Energy so we get more chance at getting crits as he land a nasty scratch attack, which hurt us a bit. We use Vice Grip, which does major damage, almost basically taking half of Charmander's health, as it hit us a little bit more with Scratch. And then we hit another Vice Grip to get to red health, as they use Scratch to hurt us a little more. We only have 13 health after this. And then we used one more Vice Grip to finish it off. Alright, up next is the Rock type Gym Leader, which starts things off with Geodude. We use Seismic Toss to deal a decent amount of damage to Geodude, as it used Defense Curl to raise its defense so it can stand up to us. Then we used another Seismic Toss, which did even more decent damage. Actually ran him the red health as he used another Defense Curl. Alright, then we used one more Seismic Toss to finish the job on Geodude. Up next is Onix, so we decided to use Bind, which did little to nothing against Onix. And then it uses Rock Tomb to not only hurt us a bit, but also lowering our speed. Okay, so now Onix uses Tackle, which doesn't do very much to us, as we use Seismic Toss, which did major damage to him, to the point where he went to yellow health and get hurt a little bit thanks to our Bind. Then he uses Bind on us, which hurt us a little bit, and we're going to take more damage over time. And then we use another Seismic Toss to land him with a sliver of health left, as we get hurt a little bit thanks to Bind. And it uses Onyx uses mine again to land us to yellow health as we use one more seismic toss to finish Onyx off. Well, that's one badge down. Alright, second gym leader time. Starts things off with Staryu, which gets one-shotted by Vice Grip. Up next is Starmie. We start things off using Vice Grip, but does decent damage as we get hurt with Water Pulse. We land it to red health thanks to Vice Grip, but then it uses Recover twice to fully heal itself. We use Revenge, which hardly done anything as we get hurt a little bit more with Water Pulse. We hit a little harder with Revenge, and then we use Vice Grip to finally finish off Starmie, earning us our second gym badge. Alright, rival time. We use Rock Tomb to instantly one-shot Pidgeotto. Next up is Charmander. It went for Ember as we went for Revenge, one-shotting it. Up next is Abra, but it really couldn't defend itself, so we one-shot it with Vice Grip. His last Pokemon is a Rattata, so it used Quick Attack as we one-shot with Revenge, beating our rival. Alright, here's the next rival battle. As per usual, he starts things off with Pidgeotto, which immediately gets one-shot by Rock Tomb. Up next is Charmeleon, so we dug a hole to avoid its Ember, and then we use Dig to one-shot it. Up next is Raticate, but it gets one-shot by Brick Break as per usual. His last Pokemon is Kadabra, but we one-shot it with Rock Tomb. Alright, Electric-type Gym Leader time. We dug a hole so it missed Shockwave, and then we one-shot Voltorb with Dig. Up next is Pikachu, so we dug a hole, it missed its attack, and then we one-shot it with Dig. But then we got Paralysis thanks to Pikachu's static ability. Up next is Raichu. He starts things off with Double Team as we were about to dig, but we couldn't do anything because we got Paralysis. He uses another Double Team, but we shut him down with a Brick Break, getting our next gym badge. On our way to the next gym leader, we came across a Rock Slide move tutor that's willing to teach one of my Pokemon Rock Slide. So I went ahead and see what Pokemon can learn it, and I was shocked as soon as I saw Pinsir is able to learn Rock Slide, which blew my mind at the time because when I was looking up what moves Pinsir can learn, it never told me Pinsir can learn Rock Slide. And now Rock Slide is basically kind of just like Rock Tomb, except it has way better accuracy compared to Rock Tomb, so I decided to replace Rock Tomb with Rock Slide since I thought a slightly better accuracy move would be better than Rock Tomb. Well, anyways, we tested it out on Pidgeotto, but missed, and then we got Sand Attack. And then we tried it again, but we were successful and one-shot it. Next up is Charmeleon, so we dug a hole to avoid its Ember attack, and then despite our lower accuracy, we still one-shot Charmeleon. Up next is Execute. We landed to red health thanks to Brick Break, and then we got Leech Seeded, so it got some of its health back. And then we use Rock Slide to finish it off. Up next is Kadabra, but it gets one-shotted by Rock Slide. Up next is Gyarados, but thanks to Hyper Cutter, Imitate doesn't work. We use a little bit of health thanks to Leech Seed. We missed our first Rock Slide as it went for Thrash, landing us to yellow health. We missed another Rock Slide as it used Thrash again, landing us to red health, and we only got 6 health thanks to Leech Seed. But we were able to hit this next Rock Slide, one-shotting Gyarados. Up next is the Grass-type Gym Leader. We used Rock Slide, which did massive damage to Victory Bell, which caused it to flinch. Then she used a Hyper Potion to fully heal Victory Bell as we went for Brick Break, which did decent damage. We went for another Rock Slide but missed, and then we got paralyzed thanks to Stun Spore. And went for Giga Drain to restore a bit of its health, but then we couldn't attack because we got fully paralyzed. Then he used Acid to do a little bit more damage to us as we finish it off with a Rock Slide. Up next is Tingla, and it starts things off by planting its roots as we miss Rock Slide. He uses Constrict, but then we hit a critical Rock Slide, which took it out one hit. Her last Pokemon is Vileplume, which just used Acid, which lowered defenses and hurt us a bit. Then we almost took it to red health thanks to a critical Brick Break. Uses Acid again to hurt us a little bit, lowering our defense even more. And then we use Rock Slide to finish it off, earning us our Grass-type Gym badge. We encounter Giovanni, which starts things off with an Onyx, which gets one-shotted by Brick Break. Up next is Rhyhorn, which also gets one-shotted by Brick Break. His last Pokemon is Kangaskhan, which also gets one-shotted by Brick Break. Wow, we basically annihilate his whole team with one move. Okay, Koga. Oh my god, Koga. I was actually pretty surprised how easily Pinsir was breezing right through the gym leaders. Up until Koga. It turns out Koga was going to be the hardest gym for us to fight. Why? You would think that since we have a ground type move, we would easily destroy his team. Not so likely. He has 5 Pokemon, basically almost a full team, that consists of 2 Coughings, 1 Wheezing, and 1 Muck. Our Dig can't hit any of his Wheezings or Coughings because they know Levitate, so Dig isn't going to be very useful. And Dig hardly even hurts Muck, so yeah, Dig ain't going to help us in this situation. Not only that, we keep getting poisoned, and our Axery keeps getting lowered thanks to Sand Attack. I gotta say, it took us this is probably gonna take quite a few attempts to even beat Koga. I was not expecting this gym to be a brick wall in this run. I guess that's the fun part about One Pokemon Challenges. You see what gym what type of gym you struggle on. With all my other attempts, I realized that Rock Slide was just as effective. So I guess we'll have to try until we get a run where we actually win. Alright, after getting him to level 55, here's the results. We one-shot Coughing with Rock Slide. Up next is Muck, which almost gets to red health thanks to Rock Slide. It raises defenses thanks to Acid Armor. We missed the Rock Slide as it boosts up its evasiveness thanks to Minimize. But we were able to finish off with one more Rock Slide. Up next is Coughing, which gets one-shot by Rock Slide. Up next is Wheezing, which gets taken half of its health away thanks to Rock Slide. We lose our accuracy because of Smokescreen. And then one more Rock Slide finished it off. Rival time, and as per usual, Pidgeot gets one-shot by Rock Slide. Up next is Charizard, which gets one-shotted by a critical Rock Slide. Up next is Execute. We used Brick Break, which did massive damage as we got paralyzed thanks to Stun Spore. We couldn't move as it used Confusion to hurt us a bit, and we became confused. We hurt ourselves with Confusion as it used Confusion again to hurt us even more. And we hurt ourselves again, and Confusion landed us down even more health. And this is when this is when we realized after getting hit constantly as we get hurt constantly with Confusion, we decided this was not a good run. Alright, next attempt. We land to red health thanks to Rock Slide, but we're still paralyzed thanks to the Stun Spore. And then one more Rock Slide finished it off. Up next is Alakazam, which uses Reflect to raise its defenses as we use Rock Slide to land to red health. It uses Future Sight as we use Brick Break to finish off Alakazam and shattering the Reflect. Alright, here comes Gyarados, but thanks to Hyper Cutter, its Imitate won't work on us this time around. It uses Bite, which did a little bit damage, and then we one-shot Gyarados with a Rock Slide, beating our rival. Here's the next Giovanni fight, which starts things off with Nidorino. It misses its attack as we one-shot it with Dig. However, we did get poisoned thanks to Poison Point, but healed the poison thanks to a Petra Berry he's been holding. Up next is Rhyhorn, so we dug a hole to avoid his Stomp attack, and then we one-shot him with Dig. Almost one-shot him with Dig, as it used Stomp to hurt us a bit. Then we used Brick Break to finish him off. Up next is Kangaskhan, which gets one-shot by Brick Break. Up next is Neo Queen, which we went on our ground to avoid her attack as we one-shot her with Dig, beating Giovanni. Alright, here's the Psychic type gym. We just one-shot Cadaver with Rock Slide. Up next is Venomoth, which gets one-shot by Rock Slide. Up next is Mr. Mime. We went for Rock Slide but missed, as it went for Calm Mind to raise its special attack and defense. Luckily for us, we hit our second Rock Slide before it had a chance to do anything, one-shotting it. Her last Pokemon is Alakazam, which gets one-shot by Rock Slide. Well, let's just hope Blaine ain't gonna be too hard. Alright, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We annihilated Blaine's whole entire team just by using Dig without getting hurt. Well, better luck next time, Blaine. We also one-shotted Giovanni's whole team with Brick Break and Dig. Wow. Alright, we got the next rival battle before the Elite Four. As per usual, Pidgeot gets one-shotted by Rock Slide. Up next is Rhyhorn, who gets one-shotted by Brick Break. Up next is Charizard, our first Rock Slide miss as he hits us with Scary Face, lowering our speed. Then he hits us really hard with Flamethrower as we one-shot him with Rock Slide. Up next is Execute. We went for Earthquake, which did massive damage, but then it went for Stun Spore, which thankfully missed. And then we finish it off with a Brick Break. Next up is Alakazam, but we don't even last too very long as he's outsped us and finishes us off with Psychic. The very next attempt, we didn't miss our first Rock Slide, and we one-shot Alakazam with Earthquake. His last Pokemon is Gyarados, but thanks to Hybrid Card, our Imitate didn't work, as we one-shot Gyarados with Rock Slide. Oh, only Elite Four members to go. Okay, before we go face off the Elite Four, here's Pinsir's stats when we got him up to level 75. I didn't think it was necessary to get him up there to level 100, because he has way better stats than any other Pokemon I did one solo challenges with. I don't know how fast he's going to go through the Elite Four, but I guess there's one way to find out. Alright, first up is Lorelei. We take out her Dewgong with a critical Brick Break. Up next is Cloyster. We took it to Red Health with a Rock Slide, as it went for Spikes, but it's useless because we're only using one Pokemon. Then she used a Full Restore to fully heal Cloyster as we went for Brick Break, taking it to Red Health yet again. And it uses Protect, which protected itself from Earthquake. It uses Protect again to protect itself from Brick Break. And then one last Brick Break finally finished off Cloyster. Up next is Slowbro. It loses tons of health thanks to Earthquake, as it used Yawn to make Pinsir drowsy. And one more Earthquake finished it off. Up next is Lapras, but because of Yawn we were put to sleep. And then we became confused thanks to Lapras' Confuse Ray. We're still asleep as he hit us a little bit with Surf. We finally woke up, but besides us being confused, we got him to Red Health thanks to Brick Break. We got to Yellow Health thanks to Surf. We hurt ourselves because of our confused state. And then we get to Red Health thanks to Ice Beam. We finally snap out of confusion and finish off Lapras with one more Brick Break. Up next is Jinx, but before he had a chance to do anything, she gets one-shot by Brick Break. Up next is Bruno with his Onix, that gets one-shot by Brick Break. Next up is Hitmonchan, which gets one-shot by Earthquake. Up next is Machop. We land him to Yellow Health thanks to our Earthquake, and then he raises his attack and defense thanks to Bulk Up, and restores his health a little bit thanks to Citrus Berry. We land him with a sliver of health thanks to Earthquake, and our speed gets lowered thanks to Rock Tomb. And of course, he uses a Full Restore to fully heal his Machamp. And then as we use Brick Break, which did decent damage, then we use another Rock Slide. We use Rock Slide, which landed to Yellow Health. Machamp misses his attack as we went for an Earthquake to finish him off. Up next is Hitmonlee, which gets one-shot by Earthquake. His last Pokemon is Onix, which obviously gets one-shotted by Brick Break. Well, 2 down, 2 more to go. Agatha's up next. We use Rock Slide on Gengar, which landed to Red Health, which also caused it to flinch. She uses Full Restore to fully heal Gengar, as we use another round of Rock Slide to land to a slither of health. Then we used one more Rock Slide to finish it off. Up next is Golbat, which gets one-shotted by Rock Slide. Up next is Arbok, but because of our Hyper Cutter, Imitate wouldn't work. And then we just one-shot Arbok with Earthquake. Up next is Gengar. We get him to yellow health thanks to Rock Slide, and he flinched because of it. He uses a Citrus Berry to heal a little bit, and one more Rock Slide finished it off. Her last Pokemon is a Haunter, which gets one-shotted by Rock Slide, so that leaves us one more Elite Four member. Last member of the Elite Four is Lance. Starts things off with Gyarados, but Imitate didn't work thanks to Hyper Cutter. Our first Rock Slide missed, as it did a little bit of damage to us thanks to Dragon Rage, but our second Rock Slide landed a hit, taking him out one hit. Up next is Aerodactyl, which gets one-shotted by Rock Slide. Up next is Dragonite, which also almost gets one-shotted by Rock Slide, and then he did massive damage with Ring Attack, and then he heals himself a little bit thanks to a Citrus Berry. One more Rock Slide finished him off. Up next is Dragonair. We used Earthquake, which one-shotted him. His last Pokemon is another Dragonair, which suffers the same fate as the previous Dragonair. Well, all we got left is our rival. Alright, our final rival battle. As per usual, Pidgeot gets one-shotted by Rock Slide. Up next is Rhydon. We used Brick Break, which took him to almost red health, as he used Rock Tomb to seriously hurt us and lowered our speed. We used Brick Break again to finish him off thanks to a crit, which we probably didn't need. Up next is Charizard, but as per usual, it gets one-shotted by Rock Slide. Up next is Alakazam, which sets up a Reflect as we went for Earthquake, which took it to yellow health. Then it hit us pretty hard with Psychic, lowering our special defense, as we finish it off with one more Earthquake. Up next is Executor. We hit very little damage with Earthquake as it finishes off with a critical Egg Bomb. Alright, before we move on, I just gotta say, we were able to take out Rhydon with Earthquake. You know, if I would just use Earthquake on my first attempt, I would probably be done with this fight already. Alright, we're back to Executor. Our first Rock Slide missed as it hits with Egg Bomb. Our second Rock Slide missed and continued getting hit by Egg Bomb. Our third Rock Slide hits very hard, and of course, he put us to sleep. And then we kept getting bombarded by Egg Bomb. Sets up Light Screen. Still fast asleep as we kept getting pummeled by Egg Bomb. We finally woke up, and then we landed to yellow health thanks to Brick Break. And then hit us with red health thanks to Egg Bomb. And then we finish it off with a Rock Slide. His last Pokemon is a Gyarados, but since it's part flying, it gets one-shot by a critical Rock Slide, which costs us to earn our spot in the Hall of Fame. Wow. What an amazing challenge. I actually had fun doing this challenge. So, I have no idea when the Solosis run is going to be done. I know I need to start grinding out attempts on it. I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of happy if I should just start over on it with, on Pokemon White 2, instead of just doing it on Pokemon Black 2, instead of doing it on Black 1. But, I am confident that I'll probably just, I think as long as I grind out attempts, I should be able to beat N. I might have to relearn, Recover, since that could probably be beneficial for the Solosis run, especially towards the end fight. However, I did finish with another challenge, I think the next one is gonna be beating all of Pokemon Crystal with a team of 1 Magby. It's done, I just have to do the narration for it. So that would most likely be the next Pokemon challenge I do. Alright guys, so that'll do it for today's video. If you guys want to see me do more of these 1 Pokemon challenges, like and comment on my videos, become a follower to my Twitch, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, help me out a lot, and join the Shadow Snake, or me! And as always, this is Shadow Snake, signing out. Bye!